History has been made on National Signing Day. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights with the highest ranked recruiting class ever in Rutgers football, ranked 23rd nationally by Tom Lemmy, our recruiting expert. Let's bring in the coach who's all smiles about this. Greg Schiano, the head coach of the Scarlet Knights. Thank you so much for joining us. Talk about the class as a whole and how proud you are of the guys you have coming to Piscataway.
Well, we're thrilled. I think we have a great group of young men that are going to really add to our football team, which is important to me because I really like our football team now, and I wanted to make sure that whoever we brought in, only added to that team.
Hey, Coach, this is the first, I've been doing this 28 years, first time I've ever seen Rutgers completely dominate the state of New Jersey. How was it done, and was it as easy as it looked?
Well, Tom, that is never the case.
Yeah.
But, look, I think what's happening is as we continue to get better and better, the kids in New Jersey and New York City, they now have a viable alternative, a program that at Division I level they can go and really think that they can compete to be the best in the country. And as long as a top flight player feels that, I think that's going to continue.
Coach, you talked about you liking your current team and that these recruits sort of added or augmented what you already have. Are you at the point already in your program that you can be a little bit selective in terms of some of the intangibles out there to make sure they fit with what type of player you want at Rutgers?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, we've been since the day we got here. I think that is critical. Certainly you wouldn't even be talking to a young man if he didn't have talent, but I really believe that the character issues and the love of the game of football, those are the critical things that are going to allow you to overachieve like we have.
Coach John L. Smith here, and I'd like to ask you, first of all, congratulations, but we've always been a big believer, wherever we've been, that you better be able to recruit your own backyard before you go elsewhere. Now you've done that, and you can keep those. Will you continue to go to Florida? I know you built that program with some Florida kids.
We will. I think we'll always go to Florida. Florida's been great. We have great relationships. We don't even recruit the entire state. We're predominantly in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. So we're going to always go and recruit there, and I think it really is a great addition to what we do in what we call the state of Rutgers, and that's New Jersey, New York, Eastern PA.
But like you said, Coach, dominating the state of New Jersey is important. In Piscataway High School, Anthony Davis, he was the big catch, the highest-ranked player in this class. We already had him on the show, and I asked him his significance to the Rutgers football program. You can finally talk about these kids. Talk about Anthony Davis and how big he was to come to your school.
Well, how'd he do? How'd he do on the show?
He was great. The Mohawk looked sharp.
You know what? I've really gotten to know Anthony well. I'm recruiting him now for 3 years, and he's a guy who loves the game. He loves everything about it. He loves studying the game. He loves playing the game. He's one of those guys who loves being around the office, and they fit in here. That's what our kids are. They're guys that just love being around it, and he's such a gifted big man that he's a guy that's really going to add to our program in a big way.
Hey, Coach, I know today's a day of celebration, particularly if you're a Rutgers fan, but it's never too early to start on juniors. We had two of the top juniors here. I know you can't talk about them name-wise, Will Hill and Eric Lee Grant, but how long have you been already hitting the junior class as far as evaluations? And I know you can't talk to them, but as far as evaluations are concerned.
Well, Tom, as you know, one of the great things if you recruit in a certain area and you keep returning there every year, we like to think that we know about the 8th graders coming up, and that to me is the critical part. And what it does is it allows you to try to minimize the mistakes in recruiting, and that's what we believe in. And so without getting into names, we've been recruiting a lot of these guys for a number of years.
Coach, of course, the magical season last year, a lot of people across the country had the opportunity to see your team compete against great teams, not only compete, but win those games. Talk about the difference it was walking into a kid's house. Obviously, in New Jersey, they had some exposure to you guys, but talk about the difference in going into a young man's house after you had the kind of success that you had last season.
Well, the biggest difference is before the season last year, it was really talking about a vision and what it was going to be and what it could be. And then when you actually win, 11 games, now I think there's more validity there. You can say it, and I think the young people understand that, hey, not only is it going to happen, but it did happen in the past. I think that's critical.
Not to bring up Anthony Davis again, but it's got to feel good to know that you're beating out schools like Ohio State, Florida, USC. Did you ever think the day would come when you were doing that?
I wouldn't have taken the job if I didn't think we were going to do that. I knew it was going to take some time, but again, I think our area, with all the great, talented football players in this area, that's what really attracted me to Rutgers. And, you know, born and raised, I know what it can be.
The 23rd ranked recruiting class in the nation belongs to that guy, Greg Schiano, the head coach of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.